Hello there, people of the internet. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. So we are at that magical time of year where Florida starts actually getting cold like it is right now, and we have Christmas around the corner. So I figure what better thing to do than to make some kind of Christmas special. So me and a couple of other gun tubers decided to go ahead and get together and make ourselves a little collaboration, and we wanted to do something a little on the easy side, but also something that we haven't necessarily done before. So instead of just doing like your standard collaboration like we've done before, what we decided to do was we decided to go ahead and make ourselves a little bit of a competition. So here is what we are going to be doing. We're going to go out to about 50 yards. Using iron sights, which is really going to be an issue for me. Using iron sights, we're going to see who can put the best grouping downrange at 50 yards. Now, normally I say this right here is about the 40-yard mark. It's probably more like 37. I measured out to an actual legitimate 50 yards, and we decided that you can go offhand if you want, but you are allowed to rest. So that's probably what we're all going to be doing, because you get better accuracy whenever you are resting. But out at this 50 yards, what we're going to do is do 3-shot groups, and we're going to do 5 of them. So 5 3-shot groups, and we're going to see which shot placement is, best. Now, we're not going to be doing any kind of follow-up video on this, so if you want to see the other people's groups, then I recommend just going to their channels. I will link them down below. Now, just due to weather, we did have some people say that they weren't going to be able to get involved in this, but I'm still going to give some shout-outs to some of these other YouTube channels that I know were either considering it or are at least deserving of a shout-out, because, hey, it's the holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. So I know for a fact I'm doing this collab with 8mm Mauser Man. You'll be able to go to his channel, see his groupings, see what he picked. The ideas of what we're doing here is we're going to use 1 military surplus firearm and 1 modern day firearm. As long as you're using iron sights, whatever it is that you pick, that is simply what it is that you can decide to go ahead and use. So 50 yards, 2 different rifles, 30 rounds total. Since we're doing 3 shots and 5 times, that's 15 rounds per rifle, so 30 shots total. So 8mm Mauser Man, I know for a fact I'm doing this collaboration with him. I do have a couple that canceled on me just because of weather or circumstances or something like that. So one of them is Hobo Factory, excellent YouTube channel. I literally watch his stuff all the time. Very, very underrated, lots of military surplus, lots of really good information, very deep dives in some of these rifles. And he gets them from a plethora of places, so you can see what it is that you're looking to expect whenever you buy from those places. Another Joe Morgan, regular commenter on my YouTube channel. I figure I'll go ahead and shout out his channel as well. He's kind of small time right now. I imagine he'll grow over time, but he's less of a gun channel, more of a like patriotic talking channel. He's got a lot of really cool stuff on his channel. I recommend going to check him out as well. I also want to shout out USNA 98, very, very cool channel. I watch his stuff literally every time he comes out with a video. I wish he'd produce more, but literally anytime he comes out with a video, I typically sit there and I watch it, because I just find the way that he presents everything absolutely fascinating. We do have future collabs where some of these people will probably get in on that, but as of right now, I'm pretty sure I'm just doing it with 8mm Mauser Man. But if somebody else pops up, hey, then somebody else pops up. The link to all of these channels, I will make sure to put them in the description below if you want to go ahead and go check them out. That being said, let's walk out to the 50-yard range, and I'm going to go ahead and set myself up a target. I'm just going to use like paper plates because they're cheap and easy. And I should be able to see a paper plate at 50 yards. It's kind of white on white, so I'm gonna try and find a spot that I can put that up without completely blinding myself. All right, I will attempt this and probably fail at it. Okay, so here we are at the genuine 50-yard mark on the range. I ought to like put something up to actually mark this as a legitimate 50 yards. So, yeah, let me show you guys the 2 rifles that I decided to pick. So this right here, you guys have seen this before on the channel. This is my KP15 build. If you haven't seen the What Would Stoner Do project, I recommend going to look that up. This is a PSA 15 upper, obviously a retro M16 style build. KP15 lower. This right here should serve me pretty well here. This is chambered in 223-556. All the ammunition that I'm running out here is just cheap steel case, so that might play a part to a very minute diminishing accuracy, but hopefully we should still see some pretty decent accuracy out of these. I chose to go with this AR platform because there's an aperture sight on it, and me and my blind eyes, aperture sights right in front of my face just help me make better shots on target. They just help me aim better. Now, my surplus rifle does not have aperture sights. I'm sure that you guys can see it right here, but it does not have aperture sights. And I do have a couple of surplus rifles with aperture sights, such as my Enfield series or my M1 Grand or Garand, however it is you feel like pronouncing that, or M1 Carbine, however it is you feel like pronouncing that. But the ammunition for those is quite expensive, and I really don't have much of it. So I decided to actually go with this SKS right here for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know how accurate this SKS is. You guys have not seen this one on the channel. So this right here is a Russian-produced SKS. I have made a video on it, but I haven't uploaded it, and I probably won't manage to do that by the time I upload this one. So, little spoilers, I guess. This is a Russian SKS late production, so there's nothing on the dust cover. And on the side of the receiver, we have some markings and a serial number that starts with some sort of Russian numeric. I have no idea how to actually go around to pronouncing that. I think that's the Russian letter R, but I could be wrong. Besides that, there's not a whole lot of markings on this rifle. There's a little star on the side of the receiver right there. That right there was done on the Russian SKS late production. Besides that, it looks like this rifle was refinished. Obviously, the bolt carrier and whatnot on this thing have been redone, and we have ourselves a couple of X's on the stock, which is a clear sign of refinishing by the Russians. So, okay, now comes the point that I'm sort of dreading and kind of procrastinating on because I know I'm going to do pretty bad at it. Let's go ahead and put a couple of rounds down range. Now the SKS right here, like I said, does not have aperture sights, so I'm expecting to not really do that great with it. However, in 7.62 by 39 at 50 yards, we should still be able to get some decent grouping. And the SKS kind of has sort of a two-stage trigger in it. And this one feels like it has a half-decent trigger, so I feel like it's going to give me my best shot at doing this. And the intermediate caliber cartridge, 7.62 by 39, is nice and light hitting. So I shouldn't really worry about developing a flinch as time goes on. Now, if you notice, I'm doing this with automatics. Hi, YouTube reviewer. Semi-automatics, mind you. If you notice, I'm doing this with automatics instead of manually operated firearms. So I'm pretty sure that's 8mm Mauser man uses some kind of bolt-action rifle in his filming. So he might actually have better accuracy milsurp wise. However, we both are going to use an AR platform for some funk on here for our modern, so he shouldn't have an advantage there. That being said, we're both blind, so it will be very interesting to see the results. All right, I'm not quite sure where to put that, so let's just put that right there and see how this feels. Yeah, I could roll with this. All right, let me go ahead and try my first 3-round group. Wow, I gotta paint that front sight white or something, because that's gonna be crazy. Okay, I have no idea where that hit. Like I said, well, obviously I can't see the hole on target from this distance, but like I said, I have not tested this SKS for accuracy, so I'm not sure how accurate it is. And the barrel in it was really funky. And that's one of the reasons why I went with this SKS instead of my other SKS, because I just wanted to see what kind of accuracy we'd get out of this. So 8mm Mauser man might actually smoke me in terms of grouping for the military surplus rifles. Okay, one more shot. All right. The first one felt kind of funny, and it's cold out here. First one felt kind of funny, so we might have ourselves a flyer down there. Let's go ahead. Well, actually, I'm going to walk down there. I'm going to see what it's looking like. I might take photos so I don't have to like completely disassemble my camera, bring it down there, come back, reassemble it, and do that 15 times. So I'll walk down there, see what I'm dealing with. Okay, well, we didn't even hit the plate. All right. let me go ahead and try this. I made some adjustments to this. Let me put 1 round downrange and see if I hit my plate now. Go ahead and take our safety off. You gotta be careful with these SKS safeties. You don't want to accidentally smack the trigger while you're taking them off. All right. Actually, that looked like it hit really low. It looked like we hit our tire with that one. Like the tire that is underneath. Okay. All right, this SKS might just shoot incredibly low. I guess that makes sense. It looks like the front sight on this thing is standing extremely high. All right, well, I figured it out. I've got the elevation set. The windage was already good, but the front sight on this SKS is extremely high, and I definitely have to get in there and turn it down some. So we are zeroed out at a windage for 400 yards. So yeah, at 50 we are hitting low at the 100 mark here. So now we're zeroed out for 400 yards, and let's go ahead and see what we can do here, because this appears to be hitting where we want it to hit at our 50 yards. So I should have, 1, 2, 3, and then I fired another 3 shots off camera, so that's 6, another 4 rounds in here. I think I have more rounds in my pocket. So far 8mm Mauser Man is absolutely smoking me, because I have no shots on target, and then I have some where I was playing with the 0. All right, now comes the me actually trying this. All right, there's 1 shot. There's 2 shots. Whew. And there's 3 shots. How many more rounds do I have left in this bad boy? Should be 1. All right, we got ourselves our first group on target, 1.47 inches at 50 yards. This SKS, once I get the sights figured out, then I get the feeling it's gonna be pretty damn accurate, because so roughly 1.5 inches. At 50 yards, that equates to about 3 inches at 100. So roughly 3 MOA with this thing, which is pretty damn good for an SKS. But I feel like I can do better. I went ahead, since I saw I was shooting low, maybe the windage needs a little bit of adjustment on this as well. But since I saw I was shooting low, I went ahead and I readjusted my sights for 500 yards. And we're gonna see if we can hit a little bit higher. I wanna see the difference in shooting 400 yards versus 500 yards on these sights. And of course I'll make adjustments to my front sight elevation whenever I'm done doing this. But for now, let's see what we can do. All right, there's 1. That felt like a good shot. There's 2. Also felt like a good shot. I noticed that with this paper plate, it kind of like as I stare at it, I can't see it, so I have to open both eyes to be able to see it for a couple of seconds. Then I close the other eye that I'm not using on the sights to achieve accuracy. And there's 3. That one I feel like I hit a little high. Let me walk down there and see what I'm looking at. All right, I tell you what, I'm actually impressed with the performance of this SKS. The barrel was so full of crap, and not like Cosmoline, like crap like dust and dirt and whatnot, just from how this SKS was being stored. But that group right there, 1.1 inches at 50 yards. Okay, hold on. So I was taking photos with my phone for the grouping on these things, and for the SKS, my 1.1 inch grouping appears to be a corrupted file. And here, look. Here, hold on. Look at this. Let's see if I can manage to get this on camera. These right here are the photos that I took. Let's see if I can get some better lighting here. These are the photos that I took for my grouping photos for what I was shooting. And that green one, that bright neon green one, is my SKS 1.1 inch grouping. So I guess I don't have any proof for that one. And that absolutely sucks. So I guess you'll just have to take my word whenever I say 1.1 inch group. I am pretty gosh darn pleased with that. Now, just like our last group, we had 2 right next to each other, and then we had 1 that was like an inch off. So I'm not sure if that's just because of the inconsistencies of this cheap steel case tool ammo, or if that is myself. I'm noticing that the plate is blurring in the background. So I'm doing the best accuracy that I can with my eyesight. Hopefully the aperture sights on my M16 style build here will be able to lend itself better to having better accuracy. But I mean, we're talking roughly 1-inch groups at about 50 yards. So that's roughly a 2 MOA shot right there. Let's go ahead and put a few more rounds downrange. I think I have another 3 in this. I'm curious to see how well 8mm Mauser man does. He's probably stacking rounds like right on top of one another to where the holes are touching. All right, let me go ahead, adjust my eyes here, and we will put another round downrange. Ah, our safety is on. Let's see what I can manage here. My paper plate is already blurring, so I open both eyes for a moment and close one. All right, there's 1 shot. There's 2 shots. Come on, baby, give me a sub-MOA group. And there's 3. Okay. Let me walk down there and see what I'm looking at. I don't want to talk about that one. 2.9 inches. 2.9 inches at 50 yards. I don't want to talk about that. The sun was in my eyes. We got a horrible, horrible wind going on right now. Look at how blustery it is outside. That's a long shot. 7.62x39 is not a long distance cartridge. 5 yards or less. Insert generic excuse right here. All right, well, with the SKS, my best grouping was 1.1 inches, which is actually pretty damn sweet. I notice as time goes on, actually, maybe it has something to do with the fact that the barrel's heating up. That might legitimately be a thing. But I notice as time goes on, my eyesight kind of starts to blur. It gets more difficult to see my sights. The paper plate in the background blurs, but I mean, these sights right here, just this style of sight, the leaf sight and whatnot, I imagine somebody could shoot way better than I could, who has better eyesight. So now we're going to move on to the aperture sights. So best 1.1 inches. That's actually pretty damn good. I'm very pleased with this SKS being able to do that. But now let's go ahead and move on to a lot of people think that this thing is really cool if they're familiar with the What Would Stoner Do project, but then a lot of people absolutely hate this thing and tell me to throw it in the river. And basically just a stoner's abortion rifle. Actually, that's a pretty good name for it. Okay, I am not positive on where this one's going to be zeroed, but I am positive that I'm going to put 3 rounds downrange, and we're going to see where we hit them. I have better hopes for this rifle since it's a modern production, and I am rocking aperture sights. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. All right, go ahead and swap on the safety. I don't like the safety on this particular KP15 lower. It just doesn't have quite the solid engagement that I would enjoy for an AR platform. It just kind of rotates. There's no clicking with the engagement, so I can't really tell when it is engaged and disengaged. Let me walk down there and see what we're looking at. So our first group is right at 2 inches. It's like 2.03 inches. So that's a pretty good group. It's about 4 MOA, which is about what you would expect for a budget grade AR platform. So now I'm going to go ahead and give a little disclaimer. I noticed 2 of the rounds were right next to each other and 1 was a flyer, just like what we saw with the SKS. This is cheap steel case tool ammo. I imagine that there's some inconsistencies. However, I did clean this rifle, and there might have been like some oil and funk and whatnot in the barrel for that first shot. That might be why we saw our flyer the way that we did. I don't know. I've never actually accuracy tested this M16, so that's a really cool thing to test here. So that might be the best group that we get, might be the worst group that we get. But I do know that I use paper towels on my jig to clean my rifles, just because they're a lot easier to come by than getting actual gun patches and whatnot. But I use paper towels, and a lot of times that leaves some residue and whatnot. I don't do that with my hunting rifles or precision rifles where I have to make 1 accurate shot. But whenever I'm, doing it for range toys, I do that. So that does leave some debris in the barrel. That might be why we had our 1 flyer, because I feel like those were really good on-point shots. But let me go ahead and send a few more rounds downrange here. Same story, 3 rounds, we'll see what we got. All right, there's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. All right, those felt like really good shots. You have got to stop flying away. I'm gonna put something on top of you. Stay. All right, let me walk down there and see what I'm dealing with. All right, I'm seeing consistencies with this tool ammo. 2.4 inches, but 2 rounds are right on top of one another, and one is like several inches away from the group. So I'm thinking that the ammunition is perhaps inconsistent, and that makes sense with the price that you pay. Even then, this is still like 4 to 5 MOA accuracy that we're getting with this ammunition, and for what you're paying for, that's not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and keep using the tool ammo that I have, but if we don't see any significant difference, then I'm gonna go ahead and go grab myself some actual brass case, good quality 223 ammunition, and we'll see what kind of group we can get with that. But let's go ahead. So my best right now is like a 2.1 inch group. Is that what we were at, or 2.0? Something like that. Let me go ahead, put another 3 rounds downrange, and we'll see what happens here. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Man, those felt like really good shots. I took my time with those. Let me walk down there, see what we're looking at with these ones. Okay, well, I'm very not impressed with this steel case stuff through this particular AR platform, or this particular AR. I do have ARs that run the steel case stuff very well, but we're getting like 2.5 groups regularly out of this. The last one was 2.6. So what I did was I went and I got myself some better quality ammunition. And I'm gonna go ahead, I got 6 rounds of this. I'm gonna put 3 downrange and see if this does us better than the cheap tool ammo that we were just using. All right, let's see what I can manage with this. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. All right, let me walk down there and have a look at that. Jesus Christ, guys. Ammunition quality matters way more than I thought it would. So, this particular AR doesn't seem to like this cheap steel case stuff. I think even then, it's like 2.5 MOA. I mean, that's doable for an off-the-shelf AR platform like what we have here. But I threw some of that quality brass case, that's Remington 223 ammunition, and we got a .44 group at 50 yards, and that is way better than what I was doing with this cheap steel case stuff. Like, that is a tremendous improvement. That's sub MOA. That equates to like 0.8 MOA, 0.88. So that is some decent grouping. I'm gonna go ahead and send a few more rounds. I still have one more group that I can do, but I don't think I'm gonna do better than 0.44. Let me go ahead and put this bad boy on here, grab my, oh God, I'm gonna end up having to get better quality ammunition for this particular AR. Like I said, I do have other ARs that run this cheap steel case stuff just fine, but apparently this is not one of them. There's 1 shot. My eyes are playing tricks on me this time. Come on, baby, you got this. Just adjust yourself. You can do it. There's 2 shots. And there's 3. All right, one of those I feel like was a little bit of a flyer because my eyes were very much blurring. Let me walk down there, see what we're looking like. All right, so our last group was, drumroll please, 1.7 inches. Not great at 50 yards. But like I said, one of the rounds, that was 100% me, 100% user error. But we had 3 rounds and 5 times to try, so I gotta keep it even if it was user error. So 1.7 inches was our last. So our best military surplus round was 1.1 inch groups with the SKS, and our best modern was .44, which is one of the best groups I've ever shot at 50 yards. So this definitely likes the better quality ammunition, this AR that I'm using. I'm interested to see the results from the others. Probably just 8mm Mauser Man this go around, but I'm not sure if we'll have others on top of it. But if we do, like I said, I'm excited to see these results. Ammunition matters. I imagine if I had better quality 7.62 by 39, I could probably squeeze out some better groups. I am amazed at the sub MOA group that I was able to get with my PSA KP15 M16 hybrid thing that I have going on over there. So that being said, hey, we're gonna have to see what everyone else is able to do. If those last rounds fired, if I was able to just take a little bit more time and refocus my eyes, I feel like I could have got that back down to like another sub MOA group, because I had those 2 rounds like right next to each other, but then I had that one flyer because I just couldn't see well and I pulled the trigger anyway, and so as a result we had one that went off to the wayside, and that is just me. I still got some really good groups out of these rifles, way better than I was expecting and way better than I would ever want. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Look down below, there's a bunch of links to a bunch of other channels, and I recommend going to check them out. That said, I appreciate your time. As I said, like, subscribe, share, description below, link, so all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out. My camera is actually dying, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. You guys go off. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.